What's up with it, guys? Hey, welcome back to another video. First and foremost, real quickly before I get into this, I just want to thank all you guys who've been subscribing and leaving positive feedback and all that in the comment sections. I really appreciate all the positivity. So hope you guys are excited for all this new content as much as I am. With that said, let's get into the video here. Now, the main thing that kind of prompted this video was me getting a quote-unquote upgrade, right, of Azurite gear, and it had terrible traits on it, right? And I'm like, man, that sucks. Such a bummer. But then I remembered patch 8.1. Now, granted, we don't know exactly when patch 8.1 is hitting, but I thought it would be helpful to make a video out there of traits to keep an eye out for and to hold on to or make note of, because I do think these traits are going to increase in their value, in their power, as we get into 8.1 due to those changes. Now, real briefly, I made a whole breakdown on the patch notes. If you did not see it, I'll post a link down below. But there's two things I want to point out. One being the change to lethal shots. Lethal shots will no longer grant us a guaranteed critical strike. It is instead going to have a chance to reduce the cooldown of rapid fire. So obviously that's a really big deal for a couple reasons, and I'll talk on that here a little bit before I kind of go into the second thing that's a big adjustment. With that being is that right now, if we're going to have any ability that's going to give us a guaranteed crit has no value as soon as that procs, right? Because it's 100% chance when that procs. So no matter how much crit we have, it's useless. So I'm actually really excited honestly, of all the changes that they're making. This is the biggest one in my opinion when it comes to PVE, because it's going to give us a lot of options regarding Azurite traits, and it's going to give us a lot more options regarding our secondary stats. There's going to be certain points where I think getting, certain crit caps based on Azurite traits, or procs of trinkets, things like that, and those in conjunction with each other, and us having the adjustments to True Shot, which I'll talk about in a second, is going to allow for a lot more options, a lot more versatility when it comes to our gameplay as marksmen, both in PvE and PvP. So that's really big to note, is that crit is going to we're going to value crit much higher once 8.1 hits because of this change, because we don't have anything guaranteeing a guaranteed critical strike. So the second change is the changes to True Shot. Now, I don't have those tooltips pulled up. I'll see if there's some way maybe I can drop them in for you guys to read, but go ahead and check out that video or go look at the blue post. I'll post that down below as well on those changes. Main point being is that it is also, True Shot is also going to reduce the regeneration time for rapid fire, reduce the cooldown for all intents and purposes. So that's a big deal as well. So those two things are basically buffing the value of rapid fire, or if we end up trying to invest Azurite traits, things like that into rapid fire, we're going to be gaining more value for those investments because rapid fire is basically indirectly getting buffed because of these synergies between True Shot and lethal shots. So with that being said, I think there's really 5 traits that I'm personally kind of setting aside or planning to try and test out and maybe stack. One I want to point out is Brightborn Infusion. Now, I don't know the proc rate on this, but if this has any kind of significant uptime, this is pretty big. So just under 1200 critical strike for 14 seconds. I did the math on it. Equates to roughly about 15% crit. But again, if we're not going to have a guaranteed crit from lethal shots, this is actually going to be very valuable in conjunction with our burst window, with True Shot and things like that. Another one, while we're on this same piece of gear that coincidentally has this, is In the Rhythm. Rapid fire finishing its channel is going to give us a haste buff. So I could see a potential playstyle of maybe even stacking 3 of these, burning through our focus bar, maybe say in PvP, for example, you Arcane Shot, Arcane Shot, Arcane Shot, Arcane Shot, burn through that focus, hit rapid fire. Once rapid fire finishes, you have this mini Bloodlust, pop that with True Shot, and you're instantly getting like 2 or 3 aim shots off into a target for some really high burst damage and some really fast casts. So I could see this having really good synergy, especially with stacking this and playing around those rapid fires. Another one I wanted to mention, is Unearring Vision. So currently, this is the only Azurite trait we have that has any real direct relationship with True Shot. And unfortunately, it's not good, in my opinion, because of lethal shots. Now, granted, I could go something like Double Tap, but I just feel like it performs weaker on any kind of consistent long fight, right? It's your consistent DPS really is hindered by not running lethal shots, especially when it comes to PvE. So with that being said, right now, Unearring Vision is pretty useless. But this is going to be really interesting to take once we get these changes in 8.1, because basically you get up to 2,750 crit when this stacks up to 10 times, which is about 40% crit. So if we get, I could see there being some kind of like a soft cap, maybe say you get to like 20 or 30% crit through secondary stats just passively. Maybe you have a crit trinket, something like the loaded dice that could proc. Then you have something like this where you might be getting up to like 75, 80% crit in your burst window. Could be super, super valuable and super strong. I don't know if it'll make sense to stack multiple of these because of how much crit that will have. So if you have anything else proccing crit, you're basically going to like be over crit capped or have like an excess of 100% crit. But definitely something to keep an eye out for, because this is going to gain value as soon as those changes come in for 8.1. Now, the other piece there's two more traits I want to talk about. One being ArcaneFlurry. Now, like I said, kind of when I was talking about that in the rhythm trait, is that ArcaneFlurry, this trait basically gives us a passive bonus damage, stacking up to 2 times. The buff lasts for 10 seconds. This is harder to keep up in PvP when you're focusing on your steady aim, steady shot, 5 steady shot, aim shot rotation. But in certain situations where maybe we just have rapid fire, I could see this actually gaining a lot of value for PvP situations. You can basically do an aim shot into a couple 3 maybe arcane shots, into a rapid fire, into another couple arcane shots, and actually being very strong. For those of you that don't know, they're adjusting, or at least currently how it's written in these data mined numbers, is that the base damage of arcane shot is going up, meaning that it will be more valuable casting it out of precise shot stacks than it currently is. It's not better than casting it when precise shots is up, but it will be better just to cast on its own than it currently is as far as the damage output, and they're reducing slightly the damage bonus of precise shots. So equalizing it a little bit. You definitely are going to want to still be casting it in those same situations, but I think we're going to be getting a lot more arcane shots in our normal rotation, especially when it comes to PvP situations or short fights. And then the last one I wanted to touch on, where is it? Of course, I'm going to have a hard time finding it now. I'm going to find it. Oh, shoot. It's the here it is. Focus fire, sorry, not steady focus, focus fire. Now this, I don't think stacking this will be very valuable, because I haven't tested this, but I can almost guarantee you that the bonus focus regeneration is not going to stack. However, the damage does stack. I have tested that. The damage does stack. And the way this works is that it basically has a linear value increase with talents like Streamline and Double Tap, meaning that this damage is split over the base duration of rapid fire. So as soon as you do anything that increases that duration, so for example, Streamline basically gives this damage of this trait a 30% bonus, and then something like Streamline and Double Tap gives it like a 260% bonus damage. So this is definitely going to be a decent trait, especially if we're getting more rapid fires up more consistently throughout fights. But again, I'm almost positive that focus generation is not going to stack. However, I could see maybe running one focus fire and then running maybe something like one of the ArcaneFlurry, and then maybe one in the rhythm, being a really interesting synergy, especially for PvP situations. Again, all the secondary stat stuff is going to be more interesting as well, because we will actually gain some value from crit that we currently do not have with the current kind of meta playstyle. So don't want to make this video too long, but those are some things I'm planning on kind of keeping a note, keeping kind of in my back pocket here when it comes to my Azurite gear, and ready to be, testing either on the PTR here or once 8.1 goes live. Let me know in the comments below what kind of stuff you guys are trying to run. I'm really curious. You guys have suggested some pretty cool builds and setups and synergies that I didn't think of initially. So let me know if there's something that you guys are thinking about or planning on using when 8.1 goes live that maybe I didn't mention in this video. The other thing I wanted to mention is I am going to start live streaming, and I'll put that link in the description below as well over for my Twitch page. But I guess that's it. Until next time, I'll see you guys in the next video. Thanks so much for watching.